Today we're going to be ranking all of the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 zombie weapons in a tier list format. Now, I know I skipped the Black Ops 1 tier list when format. The simple reason I did for zombies is due to the fact that there's actual none. There's actual no tier maker for Black Ops 1 zombie weapons. And I would actually create a tier list myself. But here's the problem. You have to have a Twitter account. And I don't have a Twitter. And I will never use that shit platform. Ever. So that's pretty much the reason. But let's get straight to this. Let's rank all the weapons. So, where's my mouse? So I've got God tier all the way to F tier now. I played Black Ops 2 Zombies a decent amount. I used to play Black Ops 2 Zombies a lot back in the day. Quite a decent amount. Though I will be honest. Out of all that were Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2 was probably my least played. And that was simply due to the fact that Black Ops 2 is my least favourite zombies before Black Ops 4. Well, at least for Treyarch games, obviously. Treyarch games, I think, have always done zombies the best. But I just want to state that in all base for. I go back to Black Ops 2 as much as Black Ops 3, World at War, or Black Ops 1. The simple reason is because I think Black Ops 2 Zombies is extremely overrated. And the way the AI works in Black Ops 2 Zombies kind of pisses me off. It's not consistent like the other games. Like, I'm used to the more fast-paced, faster-paced COD zombies. Then I'm used to the more slower-paced old zombies being super tanky. Black Ops 2 is like in the middle, I think. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people like the game, but I actually don't like the game because of that. But I do prefer Black Ops 2 Zombies over Cold War and Black Ops 4 and all the non-Treyarch zombies. I'll say that. So let's get straight into this. So let's start with the Mustang and Sally. So if this was Black Ops 1, I'd put the Mustang and Sally in God tier. Spread them out of PhD in each map, but PhD in Black Ops 2 is technically only in 2 maps. Technically it's actually on 1 map and that's Origins, but Mustang and Sallies are not in Origins, so we're not going to count that. Unfortunately, so technically it's only in Buried where you do the perma-perk for PhD. And it's only really useful on that map. It's useful on the other maps, but it's dangerous to use. And it is good for a high round strategy if you want to do it. Speedrun high rounds. And what's it called? But I would say it's quite a good day. If you want to speedrun to get to like round 50 or something like that as quickly as possible, like using the one camping strat and Buried. The Mustang Sallies are quite a good method to get to round 50 or something like that, if you want to get to it like really, really fast. So it does have that benefit. So that's the reason why I'm going to put an S, only because of that. If the game had no perma-perk PhD at all in any of the maps, I'd probably put it down to A. Just because it's far too dangerous to use in Black Ops 2 personally. Next is the M8A1. Now, in my opinion, I think the M8A7 is a wee bit better than the M8A1. I think the M8A1 is quite disappointing. The damage is pretty low. It's pretty terrible. It's not even a war weapon in Black Ops 2 as far as I remember. I don't think it's... No, it's not a war weapon at all. They made it a war weapon in Black Ops 3. And they made it a wee bit better in Black Ops 3, but... the damage is pretty horrible. It's going to be a gun you're really not going to want to use after round 10. It's kind of pointless to back a punch. Its damage is terrible, as I said. Not really special about it, unfortunately. Next is the Python. So the Python came back. It was a Black Ops 1 weapon, it came back in Black Ops 2. And unfortunately, Double Tap 2.0 doesn't really seem to have an effect on the Python. Like the Python non-packed one shots up to round 10. Now I think it can go up to like 12 or something like that, double tap, but that's about it. But no, I think it actually goes up to 24 with double tap, which is not much of a difference from round 20. It's a good gun from the early rounds, I'll admit that, and it's a good gun if you want to get through like it's still a usable gun in the 40s if you really want to use it that high. But then you're going to run into an ammo problem. So it's a good gun. It's a very, very strong gun. So I'm going to give it 8, and while we're doing that, I'm also going to rank the new Model Army. The new Model Army is actually the exact same as the Python, but I think it does like an extra 100 damage, and it obviously has a faster fire rate. So due to the fact it's got a faster fire rate, and it looks cooler than the Python, I'm going to put it above, but I'm going to put it the exact same tier, exact same format, because it's pretty much the same gun, apart from this one does like an extra 100 damage. and has a faster fire rate and a better build time as well than the Python. But they're pretty much the exact same thing. Next is the KSG, which is only an Origin, which is really unfortunate. But it's probably easily the best shotgun in the game when it comes to damage. This gun can carry you to the 50s if you're good at getting headshots. But the problem is, once again, it's only it's not a war gun, so I got to remove some points from it. But the damage is good. Reasonable. It's quite an underrated gun. It's decent against the Panther as well, though you'd have to staff the Origins. That's what I don't like about Origins, so all these DLC guns. They put like they put like what 3-4 DLC weapons in the Origins. And you put the stats in the map, which kind of make the guns obsolete. But I'm gonna give it A, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A. Next is the MP40. So the MP40 in Black Ops 2 is better than Black Ops 1 and better than World at War 1, due to the fact you have double tap 2.0. And you're always going to pick it up in Origins like 9 out of 10 times. Especially if you have to staff in that band Panzer. I'm still is absolutely terrible against the Panzer, especially in Black Ops 3, but we're only talking about the Black Ops 2 one. So it's a decent gun. You're going to use it to like maybe the mid-teens, then you're going to get rid of the MP4. Maybe you'll pack a bunch of, and then it'll be useful to the early 20s. But you're pretty much almost going to get rid of it instantly. So I'm going to give it damage is, I'm going to give it a C. I think the damage is a wee bit too low to put it at B. Next is the RPG. For the RPG is okay. And it's pretty good if you have the power per PhD. But that's about it. I'm going to give it... I'll be generous. I'll give it a C. I'm going to be generous and give it a C. Even though I think that's a bit too nice to give it a C. But I'm going to be generous. Next is S12. The S12 is god awful. For your 30 bullets, they pretty much can only one-shot zombies up to round 5 unless you get double tap, then it's like up to round 10. They can one-shot zombies up to round 20 if you pack a bunch and tap double tap 2.0, and it only has like 50 rounds in the magazine if you pack a bunch instead of 30. And the damage is absolutely god awful for shotgun. And it's really bad. And I think due to the lack of ammo, I'm going to have to put it in the D tier. But I would say it's actually... No, I'd say the enemy is better because the enemy is better for points. Alright, next is the SGG-44. The SGG-44 was actually worth the Black Ops 2 compared to the World at War 1. It does feel a lot better. And it's quite a good gun. The only problem is it's where it's located in the Origins. Kind of does ruin it. Though you can get it out of the box, I suppose. Decent damage. Double Pack 2.0 helps. And I actually prefer the design in Black Ops 2 over World at War. World at War, the SGG looks so weird. I don't actually know if the SGG looks more accurate in Black Ops 2 or the World at War is actually the more realistic look for it. Anybody actually knows about that, correct? Let me know. Because that kind of looks like this in World War 2, the Call of Duty World War 2, and I think it looks the same as this in Vanguard. But World at War, it looks like a tiny wee gun, like the fin thing is so small. It's really weird. But it's a good gun, and I digress. I'm going to put it in B. I think it's quite good damage. Good damage. The only problem is it's where it's located in Origins, unfortunately, which affects it. Next is going to be the M14. So the M14 damage is it's okay. It'd be useful up to it's useful up to like around 7 or something like that, non-packed. If you pack a bunch, it's pretty much useful up to the mid-teens, and that's about it. It is a war weapon, so I suppose it's alright. I'll be generous. I'm gonna put it on my D. I might change my mind and put it E. Next is the Uzi. I actually forgot the Uzi was actually a gun. The Uzi is exclusive to Mob of the Dead. The Uzi is an okay gun. It's alright. I'll get you through the early rounds. Not the best against Brutus. There's better guns, but it's not bad either. I'll put it at B. I think it's decent, though I think the SCG is a better gun. Next is the RPD. The RPD, good damage. But the RPD, did you know that RPD, that I don't actually know, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think the RPK in Black Ops 1 is a better gun than the RPD. I feel like the RPD just runs out of ammo too fast. The damage seems pretty low for an LMG. But due to the fact that it's an LMG and it does have a decent amount of ammo, I'm going to put it at B. I'm going to put it B due to that. I think A is a bit too generous. Next is Cheekham C. The Cheekham C, this is gonna be straight up honestly. The Cheekham C's damage is absolutely terrible. Its ammo is awful. The gun is literally, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to put it in F. Put it in F due to the fact it's not a Wogan either. It's absolutely terrible. Next is the V2R, which this gun in multiplayer is absolutely amazing. Like, it's either this or the Cat 40 you're going to use in multiplayer, unless you're good enough to 5-7, I suppose. But in zombies, you only really use it in transit. And I guess they made it a little bit better in Origins, because it's got the steady clip performance in Origins, and they make it Wogan. But in transit, you're pretty much going to use it all the time, or a decent amount of time, especially if you're stuck in that damn bus. And due to the fact that it's a raw weapon, even though it's pretty much just as bad as the Cheekham C, due to the fact that it's a raw weapon, I'm going to put it in E instead of F. Next is the SVU. The SVU can actually kill zombies in the head up to the 50s, if you know what you're doing, and you're good with the gun. And due to that, I'm actually going to put it at the top of S tier. This gun is really, really underappreciated, but the SVU is actually probably the best sniper in the game. I know people say the DSL is better, but the thing is, the SVU is it's a semi-automatic sniper. The SVU is pretty much like the Draken of Black Ops 3. But people really underappreciate the Draken, and if you don't believe me, the SVU is going it's a good weapon. Watch that round 50, the Crazy Rabbit video where he used the SVU, and it's arguably probably the best gun, best damage gun in Black Ops 2, and I'm not actually joking about that. Best DPS gun, and I'm not joking about that at all. Next is the Barrett. Okay, the Barrett. Okay, the Barrett has like 30 rounds, 5 pings. The recoil is absolutely terrible. When you pack a bunch, you only get up to like 49 shots. I think it's one of the worst guns ever. Call of Duty Zombies. Sure, you could kill zombies up to like round 5. Sure, technically you could kill zombies up to like round 25 or 30 if you're getting good at headshots. But if you pack a bunch, you have double tap. But the recoil is absolutely god awful. You have to fire it super slow. And though, yes, technically it does have the same damage as this gun. No, I think it's actually a wee bit less. The recoil is fucking god awful. It is absolutely terrible. It ruins the gun. Next is the Olympia. The Olympia is actually not that bad. People will hate on Olympia too much. Yeah, I'd actually make the argument say the Olympia is better than Black Ops 1 due to the fact it's got that fire thing, which I think actually does make the gun do a wee bit more damage. Like, they removed the fire effect from the Olympia in Black Ops 2 for some weird reason. But I would actually say that the Olympia is actually equal to the M14. I would say this is worse for points, but if you want to do up to the 20s, if you want to use a useful gun up to the 20s, use this. If you just want to kill and you don't care about points. If you care about points and want to replace this gun in the 15s if you back a bunch of it, it's yours. The same goes in non-packed. Round 7, round 5. Next is PDW. PDW is a good gun. Decent damage. However, you're always going to buy the EN94 over it unless you get it from the box or something like that, unless you're lucky. And you just want to use the PDW for a day instead of the... Like, though I will admit, the PDW packet punched with that terrible scope is pretty bad. But I'd actually say it's better than the... I'd say it's better than the Uzi. Definitely better. Next is the War Machine. War Machine, no impact, is god awful. It will kill the player, bounces too much packet punch. It uses Sentexes. Sentexes. Did you know Sentexes and frags tend to do the same damage? The only difference is it's the reason Sentexes seem better is because obviously they stick instead of bouncing around. But so I'm gonna put it at the top of E. I think it's alright. Pack a punch, it probably could go up to D. If they non-packed, it's F. So maybe I'll put it. Nah, I'm not gonna put it. Next is the Remington. The shotgun just terrible. Look, this is like the stakeout of Black Ops 2. This is like the stakeout of Black Ops 2. The gun is absolutely awful. The damage is terrible. You'll be lucky. Sure, it's pretty much does the exact same damage as the Olympia, I'm pretty sure. But unlike the Olympia, it's actually slower to shoot. The packet punch is alright. But I'm gonna put it at the top of E. It's really bad, it's really poor performance. Next is the SMR. Do I even need to talk about the SMR? So the SMR, let's talk about the SMR really, really fast. So, Pack-a-Punch, non-packed, F. Pack-a-Punch first time, E. Pack-a-Punch second time, F. Because for some reason you double pack it, you get less ammo, but if you don't double pack it, and I don't know why they never fixed that, it's such a weird glitch. Though I will put it at the top of F due to the fact if you only pack it once, you're gonna have a decent amount of ammo. Next is the MP5. The MP5 is pretty much like the MP40, but the problem with the MP5 is it runs out of ammo too fast compared to the MP40. And I think you're only really going to use this like a town or something like that. Or when you're doing a challenge on the town or something like that, sure, you're using MP5. So I'm going to put it here. I think the MP40 is slightly better on it, due to the fact the MP40's got a slower fire rate, and it's actually got more ammo. Next is Cat 40. The Cat 40 in Black Ops 2 Zombies is absolutely awful. I'll put it at E. I'm going to put it at E. The damage is absolutely terrible. You burn through ammo. Pack-a-Punch, it turns into an okay gun. But it's absolutely terrible. Next is the FAL. I hate the FAL. The FAL is like one of those guns. I think the FAL... if we're talking about non-backs FAL, I'd probably put it in E. But Pack-a-Punch, I hate it when it goes into a 3-round burst. I absolutely despise that about the FAL. I actually feel like the FAL is one of those guns, Call of Duty Zombies. It feels like when you Pack-a-Punch it does less damage. It actually feels like it does less damage. Maybe it's just me, but it actually does feel like it does less damage when it's Pack-a-Punch. So due to that, I'm gonna put it at the top of E. I think non-packed, you probably go up to C, but I think Pack-a-Punch, the Pack-a-Punch literally ruins it. You know, I'll be generous. I'll be generous about it at the top and bottom of D. Just because I'm in a nice, good mood. Next is the Ballista. The Ballista is only on Origins and it's quite a good gun until you go up against the plans. It's pretty much just a better version of the Car 98K. That's what literally the Ballista is in Origins. It's just the Car 98K, but reskinned. Does double the amount of damage. Can kill zombies up to the decent 20s to 30s if it's Pack-a-Punch. You know, you don't know it's absolutely awful against the Panzer. It's a cool gun. And due to that, I'm going to be generous. And I think if you know how to use it, I'm going to put it near the top of D. If you know how to use it, you know what you're doing, I think it's quite a decent gun, but it does lack damage. Next is the M60. The M60 is pretty much the exact same as the M8. But it's the M16, plus it does have a grenade launcher, even though the grenade launcher is absolutely awful. And you're not going to buy the M16 in Black Ops 2 unless you're training on the tunnel for some reason in transit, personally. It's an M16. The M16 is an absolute love gun. Unfortunately, I've never put an M4 carbine in their games. I don't love that M4. But I'm actually going to put it ahead of this. Now, I know technically this has more ammo. It's a 4-round burst instead of a 3-round burst. But come on, man, the grenade launcher, even though the grenade launcher is absolutely terrible, it does help. This kind of does input more damage if you use the grenade launcher against a whole horde, I suppose. So, yeah, I guess this actually kind of does more damage than this if you use the grenade launcher, which is kind of weird, if you ask me. Next is the 5.7. The 5.7 is an average pistol. It's okay. Dual wield is a wee bit better, but I don't think the dual 5.7 is actually on this tier list, unfortunately. Nah, I don't see it. So, non-dual wield, so we're just going to rank it both dual and non-dual wield. I'm going to put it mid. I'm going to put it right in the middle of C tier. I think it's good damage, good at all that. If it was dual wield, I'd put it at the top of C. Because it's got more ammo, dual wield, and I guess you get more damage. Next is the AK-74U, which the AK-74U, without a doubt, is the best gun in Black Ops 1 Zombies. Best war weapon. I mean, the best war weapon, yeah, in Black Ops 1 Zombies. And I think it's also one of the better war weapons in Black Ops 2 Zombies. However, Double Tap 2.0 doesn't seem to really work on this gun for some weird reason. Which is really, really weird. But I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to put it in the middle between these two guns. This is where I'm going to put it. I think it's good damage, but I think Double Tap 2.0 doesn't really work on the AK-47. It doesn't feel like it really works on it. Black Ops 2's got some weird weapons where double tap 2.0 doesn't seem to really work on some guns in that game. Luckily they fixed that for Black Ops 3. Next is the Ballistic Knife. Ballistic Knife's what you're going to use for revive teammates. That's about it. I guess it's good in grief to a certain point of view. I'm going to put the Ballistic Knives at the top of E due to the fact you can revive teammates. It does have some useful. Next is the Type 25. The Type 25, the recoil is absolutely terrible. It was kind of weird. They brought back the Type 25 in Gold 1, just called it the QBC. I'm pretty sure the QBC and the Type 25 is the exact same guns. A wee bit better than QBC's a bit better than the Type 25. The QBC and Type 25 have a terrible recoil. But I'm going to put it here. The ammo's pretty terrible on it as well, and you wouldn't really use this gun. Next is the DSR. The DSR, good damage. Very good damage. Pretty much one shot with zombie up to round 42 in the head. Very high damage, which is the problem. They should use a better sniper. Just the fact it just doesn't have the ammo. And when you double back it, you get the iron sight, which is really cool. So I'm gonna put it at the top of A. I'm gonna put it at the top of A. Very high damage, but it's not a raw weapon. Next is the LSAC. The LSAC easily is the best Black Ops 2 weapon, and it's also a raw weapon buried. The best weapon, I mean, best LMG. It's absolutely amazing, but you're not gonna buy it much. No. I'm gonna put it at the top of A. I'm gonna put it at the top of A. People don't buy it much, people don't appreciate it much, but the damage is really, really high. I think it's the best LMG in Black Ops 2 Zombies. And it's probably it's absolutely the best LMG in multiplayer, especially if you do that dumb target finder and you scam in the corner the whole game. Yeah, that's not good, by the way. Next is the Death Machine. Death Machine has really, really good damage. The problem is Death Machine is exclusive to Mob of the Dead. It's cool. You're gonna get a lot of kills with it, but come on, man. Why would you move so slow with the Death Machine? Because it's like one of those guns where you fire, you can't really move. It's cool. It's really cool, and I think they should have brought this instead of making this a lateral gun. They should have made this a power up. Personally, I think. Next is the. I've actually forgot the name of that gun. The jet gun. That's the name of it. The jet gun. I'm going to be completely honest here. If you know how to use the jet gun, good for you. If you don't know how to use the jet gun, bad for you. You know how to use the jet gun properly. It's there. If you don't know how to use it all, it's there. So I'm just going to put it in the middle. I'm just going to put it at the bottom of C, the middle of C, bottom of C. Next is the ray gun. The Black Ops 2 ray gun was still decent. However, it did feel worse in that game. However, the weapons weren't the best of Black Ops 2, so the ray gun was still a viable option. But it was a bit downgraded from Black Ops 1. Like Black Ops 1, I'd probably put it here. Black Ops 2, I'd probably put it here. But it's not bad, so it's Black Ops 2, you'd be like here. I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to put it A. The ray gun is still a viable weapon. If you know how to use it, you just have to be a bit more cautious. Next is Cyclophyre. Pre-patch Cyclophyre, without a doubt, best gun in the game. You can actually still do a glitch to get the pre-patch Cyclophyre to actually still work. I never actually knew that was actually a feature. Though I don't think it works on the PC platform, unfortunately. Only works on the Xbox. But the Cyclophyre, round 100, up to one round 100. From round 1 to 100, you're pretty much going to one-shot zombies forever. And you can kill like 400 zombies with one shot of this. Which is absolutely amazing. It is really overpowered. I'm broken. In fact, actually lied. This is the best LMG in the game. You know what? I'm going to put this at the... you know what? They're pretty much the same damage, to be completely honest. I think the LMG8 is a wee bit better than L6. I'll put it at the bottom, top A. The top of A, I think that's a reasonable place to put it. Next is the Scorpion. Too bad the Scorpion is only in Origins, and I really wish the Scorpion was on the map. The Scorpion in multiplayer was really, really overpowered. If you know how to control the recoil of the Scorpion from multiplayer and before it was nerfed, it's absolutely amazing. And it's actually a really, really good LMG. Without a doubt, I'd actually say it's the best LMG in Black Ops 2 Zombies. Not S. Why do I keep saying LMG? Best SMG. So I'm gonna put I'll put it. It's not a war weapon. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put it there. Scorpion, absolutely amazing. Love it. Too bad it's exclusive to Origin, so it kind of gets a wee bit underappreciated. Next is the M27. The M27 pretty much looks like an average AR. I'm pretty sure this is pretty much the same damage as SCG. However, it's not a war weapon, so I'm going to put it here. I think it's pretty much the exact same stats as SCG. I'm probably wrong about that, but it's not a war weapon. So even if this is better, that's where I put it. Next is Resnov Revenge. That's the AK-47, which, once again, man, my problem with Black Ops 2 Zombies is so many guns are exclusive to one map, man. Unless you go and play that map, you can't use the gun, so it's actually harder to rank some of Black Ops 2 zombie weapons. I guess Black Ops 3 is a wee bit like that. Black Ops 3 is Zombie Chronicles. Most of the guns in Zombie Chronicles, apart from the damn Marshals, man, I think why they made them exclusive to fucking CNS. Because they're so cool guns, but they're CNS. AK's got good damage, but it's not a war weapon. In fact, if I'm correct, I think the AK actually has the exact same damage stats as D2. I think the AK's got a cooler name than the M27 Pack-a-Punch, instead of the Mystifier. It's got like the... I think that's the name of it. Resnov's Revenge. Such a cool name. Next is... Now this is going to be a hard one. Okay, so this is the problem with her. Okay, the problem with her... I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. It is not a god tier gun. It's literally just a multi-bomb. It's pretty decent. I mean, you can extract zombies, but there's so many people that put this gun at the top of their tier list and say it's like top 5 best wonder weapons. In fact, it's not even top 10 best wonder weapons personally. It's good, sure, you got infinite monkey bombs, sure, if you get cornered, you can shoot it over and over and over again. It also damages the player. And it is a good high round weapon, so I'm going to put it here. I think the SU is actually a better gun than the 12mm from personally. That might shock some of you, but yeah. Next is the Galil. The Galil's absolutely amazing. High ammo, high damage, high movability. I'm going to put the Galil at the top of S. Top of A. Galil's absolutely amazing. Very high damage. Come on, the Galil's the most overrated fuck. Does any of you in the comments let me know? Does anybody wish that they bought the Commando back instead of the Galil? Like, the Commando is so underappreciated. And the M4 of freaking Cold War, whatever the hell that gun's called, is not the Commando. I really wish they brought the Commando back. The Commando is such an iconic gun. It's like the M4. And then they never brought the Commando back. They brought the Galil. The Galil has been brought back 5 fucking times. Though it's pretty good in Black Ops 2, I'll acknowledge that. But, come on, man. They keep bringing back the same gun over and 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 over again. You know, it's really weird to say. A lot of people didn't use the Galil in Black Ops 1. It was quite an underrated gun in Black Ops 1. That's what I don't understand why they always bring it back. Like in Black Ops 1 multiplayer, more people use the FAMAS, the Commando, the M16, the Scorpion, the MPL. Yeah, so weird why they always brought back the Galil. I'd actually say it's one of the less used guns. Even the Enfield I just felt like got more use than the... Next is the Raygun Mark II. Raygun Mark II. It's not god tier because it lacks infinite damage. I know technically this gun lacks infinite damage as well, but sure. I'm going to put it at the top of S. Come on, it's the Raygun Mark II. It's absolutely amazing. Next is the Paralyzer. Paralyzer is pretty much useful up to around 70. After around 70, it's pretty much absolutely useless. I'm going to put it... Yeah, because you can literally train and do nothing. Because you literally just camp for 70 rounds. Yeah. Higher damage. I'm going to put it here. The round 70 is pretty much useful, but I'd rather use the Raygun Mark II personally over this, even though this is just... If you want to be boring, just use this gun. Sure, you get to fly, there's other cool features with the gun, but the Raygun Mark II is, I think, a better gun. Next is the MTOR. The MTOR's quite an underrated AR. And MTOR is decent, good damage. I'd probably say it's one of the worst AR. I'd actually say probably the MTOR. Unfortunately, I'd probably say the MTOR is the worst AR in Black Ops 2 Zombies. I mean, the damage is not the best. It's not a war weapon. It's not a war weapon. So yeah. Next is the Mauser. The Mauser is very good in Pack-a-Punch. Let's see, what was the name of it? What is it called? The Boomhilder, that's the name of it. However, the damage of Black Ops 2, it's good against the Panzer, but the problem is it's not like Black Ops 3 one. Like Black Ops 3 one, you can one-shot zombies and hit around 50. Like Black Ops 2 is going to take like half a clip. Maybe not half a clip, maybe like 5 shots, but the point is, the ammo's good. Sure, it's good to do Easter eggs, to zoom hell as everyone calls it. It's cool, it's good. Yeah. This might sound controversial. I'm going to put it here. Okay. So next is the hammer. The hammer recoil was absolutely god awful. Pre-patch this gun was amazing. After patch, I don't know why they nerfed the recoil. There was nothing wrong with recoil. I would say the hammer's decently better than the. I put the hammer here. I think the hammer's quite a bit better than the RPG. Better damage, much better damage once you pack a bunch of. Better recoil control once it's pack a mission as well. So the hammer goes here with the RPD. I think the hammer's just quite a decent bit better. Next is the M1216. The M1216 monster ammo, but it's actually arguably one of the best damaging shotguns in Black Ops 2 Zombies. That just is actually very, very strong. I'm actually gonna put it here. The reason I'm putting it ahead of the KSG because the HG is only exclusive to one map. If the KSG was on more maps, I'd probably say it's better than M1216, but it's exclusive to one map. And you can't really take full use of the KSG, sure. Because there's too many bosses in that map. I feel like the bans spawns far too often, so you don't get the full opportunity to test out the gun. Alright, next is the Executioner. Executioner easily the best shotgun slash pistol in the game, without a doubt. I'd actually say the Executioner is here. Executioner is absolutely amazing. High damage. Pretty much like a one shot to around 34, so pretty much you get to the 50s pretty easily with the Executioner if you know how to use it properly. Okay, next is the staffs. So I'm going to have to get right up to my monitor to see what type of staffs these are. Because, like some of you, I don't recognize the staff. So I believe the first staff, and I'm actually going to stand up right next to my monitor screen so I can actually see it. I believe this is the wind staff. Yeah, wind, lightning, fire, ice. Okay. Sit back down there. So, wind staff, ammo could be better on the wind staff. The wind staff, the problem with wind staff is ammo, but it does do infinite damage. And I think due to the fact that it does infinite damage. But the ammo was better. If they like doubled the ammo, I'd probably possibly say it'd been better on the Simplifier, but the ammo's the problem. Next is lightning. Lightning is a super overrated staff. Lightning is pretty much you swap to the 30s and 40s, and because Black Ops 2 zombies are a wee bit slower, it's not as good compared to the Black Ops 3. Lightning staff, I'd say the lightning staff in Black Ops 3 is slightly bit better because zombie aggressive. The people that say the lightning staff is the best are very delusional and don't know what they're talking about. And it's really hard to make the lightning staff as well. It's lightning and the fire are usually the hardest staffs to make, and they're not the best. Kind of weird. The ice quite's kind of like that in a way as well. Saying that, there's better staffs and there's better bows than the bars. So I'm going to put the lightning staff. Doesn't do better damage than Ring of Mark Window. Doesn't do better damage than Paralyzer. Doesn't do better damage than the SVU. Does do better damage than Hangman. A bit better. I'll say it's better than the Mustang and Sally. Yeah, I think it's still it's an F tier gun, but the damage is just it's very, very poor compared to the other ones. Next is the fire staff. The fire staff actually does do infinite damage on Black Ops 2, but here's the problem. It starts to make the game will crash around 70. The game will crash around 70. The game will crash around 70. Yeah. Or unfortunately, because your game crashes, I'm gonna have to put it here. It's good up to around 70, but the game crashes. These won't crash the game. In Black Ops 3, they just nerfed it. They said, oh, let's just nerf the damage. Maybe they can figure out something why the game was crashing, so they decided, let's just nerf the damage. Because Black Ops 3 is like a 2-shot around 50, but Black Ops 2, it's a 1-shot infinite. But the problem is you can't use it on high grounds, it's not viable stuff. Because the game crashes. So you've only really got 2 staffs you can use in high rounds, and that's the wind and the ice. Now the ice without a doubt is the best staff in the game. But the circle fire is a better weapon, I would say. Infinite damage. The problem is you got to camp with it. I guess you kind of got the same as circle fire. The circle fire can get a lot more kills than the ice staff if you know how to use the circle fire properly. And technically, yes, I know the ice staff can technically kill to like 150. Or is it 150? I know it technically can kill higher more rounds than the circle fire. Though I believe the ice staff does have a round cap of damage as well. People say it's infinite, but other people say it's not infinite, so I'm not actually trying to sure. But I'm going to put the circle fire ahead of it, because the circle fire, you know how to use the circle fire. It's a better gun than the ice staff. Probably. Next is the M1927. The M1927 is the most overrated fucking SMG in Call of Duty Zombies. I mean, Black Ops, World at War, when it was called the M1A1 or something like that, or the M1927 in World at War is easily the best. I'd say the one that's 20 round mag, the one you buy in DVDs. It's a lot better than this one. Sure, this one carries more ammo, but the damage, it feels so bad. Black Ops 2, the damage is not too bad, but Black Ops 3, this gun is god awful. Sorry if you like this gun. Sorry if you like this gun. I'll put it ahead of the PDW because I'm feeling generous, but because it has good ammo, so the damage is not that good, and this gun is so overrated. And people just like it because it's freaking gangsters, it's mafia type gun. Most of the gangs that the freaking mafia and the gangsters used to using on that shit. I think that's the reason why people put it so high up. Well, cool, it's a gangster gun. Cool. That's the only good thing about it. Next is just a normal blunder package, but normal blunder guy. It's better than the execution. Nah, I'd say the shotgun weapons are a wee bit better than it. Next is the Scar. The Scar H is actually the best damaging gun in the game. Best damaging AR gun in the game. So, due to that, I'm going to see. So let's see. Let's start with this one. Is it better than the Mustang salaries? I would say yes. Is it better than the lightning stuff? Yes. Is it better than the boom helmet? Yes. Is it better than the executioner? No. The same goes to the A94. A94 sure is a war weapon for fuck's sake, which makes it really, really good. I would actually put the, you know, I'm going to put this in the middle. I'm going to put it in the middle between those two. Simply due to the fact that it's a war weapon. It makes it really, really cool to use, and it does make it a viable weapon to use. So it's good. It's a good weapon, but it could be better. So that's my tier list of Black Ops 2 weapons. Now, I didn't really use the God tier much. I probably could have not used the God tier personally. But there's a lot of good weapons in Black Ops 2, and there's a lot of bad weapons in Black Ops 2. Like, so here's how I'll go. So God tier weapons, you're going to be using these weapons. So this is how I do it. Black Ops 2 don't really have infinite damage in one of the weapons, unfortunately. So these guns, you can use after around 100. These ones, you can use up to the 70s. And I believe if you use them properly, you can use up to the 70s. These guns, you can use up to the 50s with pretty confidence. Pretty confident you can use these guns up to the 50s. So these guns, yep, round 100, you pretty much use these two guns up to effectively. Round 70s, you can use these guns up to effectively. Round 50s, you can round up from mid 50s. 40s, I would say for these guns. 30s for these guns at the max. 20s for these guns at the max. 15s for these guns at the max. And 10s. So, round 10, these guns will be semi-useful up to round 10. Round 15, these guns will be semi-useful up to, I think. Round 20, these guns will be semi-useful up to. Round 30, these guns will be semi-useful up to. When I mean by semi-useful, I mean by they're still going to be able to kill, but they're going to take me a minute. Round 40, these guns are going to be able to kill up to. Round 50, these guns are going to be able to kill up to. Pretty effective. Round 70s, now I know technically some of these guns will really, some of these guns will really struggle in the round 70s. Like, this gun is going to really, and they are probably going to really struggle. But you still get kills. Around the hundreds, these guns can kill up to. Pretty effectively. So that's how I'm going to do the tier. That's how I'm going to rank it. But anyway, enough talk. Let me know what your weapons are in the description. Just put maybe one weapon for each tier. I don't know. Or just do this yourself. And make a response video. Because why not? No, people probably won't do that. But yeah, let me know in the description. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And make sure to like and leave a like. And subscribe if you're new. And we'll be back. Eventually, we're going through back. But don't worry about Assassin's Creed 2 playthrough. I couldn't actually stream it yesterday on Friday, on the 18th. That's due to the fact I was busy. Things came up, and also I didn't actually want to stream that day. I actually couldn't be bothered streaming that day, but I would have not able to stream until like 5 or 6 at night, and I was just like, nah, I'm not streaming that time. But enough thought. I'm gonna end this video here. Peace out. Bye.